Hi there, folks. I wanted to share with you a different kind of empathy guess that is happy for your right brain. So, in nonviolent communication, we of course look at empathy as a kind of like a core pillar of what we're about and what we try to do when we're listening. And so, certainly making feelings guesses and making needs guesses. And what I want to share with you in this video is something different that you can do that often is really lovely to receive, as the speaker. So yes, feelings guesses, needs guesses, recaps, reflective listening, like warm presence. These are all things that you're probably practicing as you kind of work on being a nonviolent communication practitioner. I really love some of the work that I learned originally from Sarah Payton, and she writes about in a relatively new book called Your Resonant Self. You can check it out if you end up liking this video. She has a lot more about the kind of the resonant language of the right brain. So sometimes those other things can be really great for the kind of like the more linear parts of how we like to process, but so as you're listening to somebody, sometimes it's really great to have some kind of a novel metaphor or the impossible dream sort of like offered as a guest for the person. So an example, I was just working on a coaching call with a group of educators, and every single one of them today came to the call with some kind of a story about a student in crisis, or a student that had, was sort of like demonstrating, like a sort of trauma response of one kind or another. And so, feelings and needs guesses were lovely, and we did that. And then what started to happen is we went into this realm of making some guesses that had as a part of them a novel metaphor or an impossible dream. So one of them, for example, a novel metaphor is like, oh my gosh, were you just like banging your head against the chalkboard? Like it's a novel metaphor. We hear the more familiar metaphor of banging your head against a wall, but the brain kind of like jumps awake when it hears like sort of like a metaphor that is new to it. So, so banging your head against a chalkboard, or, oh my gosh, did you just want to like put your head under the faucet and and run water over it? Like these are kinds of things that might sound silly right now, the context, but yeah, some kind of a metaphor about, was it kind of like this? Did it feel like that? Maybe technically a simile, but in any case, the impossible dream, what we're talking about there is like sort of this grand, broader vision of what you would wish for this kind of person and anybody in their boat, for example. So we're not just like sharing a strategy, like, well, do you wish this student had all the resources they need? Like, yes. Impossible dream, though, to me, like I think about, in fact, what actually came out of my mouth was like, oh my gosh, I just wish there was this like waterfall of resource that, like as long as you could get there, all you had to do is just stand under it and you'd have it. Like it didn't require effort, didn't require, months or years of healing work. You just stand under this resource and you receive it. So like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if healing could come out of a shower head like that, where you could just turn on the source and voila, right? So this is impossible dream, and I find that impossible dream and novel metaphor sometimes go together. Maybe they don't always have to, but in my brain they're quite connected. And so yeah, just want you to know about that and start playing with it a little bit. See if you can play with it in the context of your own practice as you're kind of feeling into your own feelings and needs, doing some self-empathy. Like, yeah, what is it like on kind of this like grander scale? Like, what is it that I would long for me and everyone else in this position, or me and everybody else in my scenario? You know, I'm wishing for, you know, maybe this need for all of us to be met in a way that is so easy. It's like, you know, just like floating on the river on a raft on a warm summer day. You know, just like kind of starting to incorporate a couple of other pieces in there, but you kind of get the idea. So play with that a little bit and see how it goes, and let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you like this video, please click like on this page so you can get more. Thank you.